Like you want to get good at like picking something up, that's awesome. Now we'll make it like 400 pounds and you need to put it to your shoulder now. Also, you need to do it for reps.
You are listening to And If Love Remains.
Speak peace like a Buddhist.
A unique show spotlighting people, ideas, science, culture, and art. Your host, Mike Leavitt.
Yes, Rachel, you are listening to that great podcast in the sky, And If Love Remains, and I am its humble messenger, Mike Leavitt. Thanks so much for everybody for tuning in, and this is going to be a fun episode. I have my friend Josh Badal back on, friend of the program. Josh, what's up, brother?
Hello. Glad to be back.
Good. Josh is a documentarian. There's too many syllables in that word. And he's a filmmaker and he's doing great things. And we're going to talk about one of the projects that he's working on. And we're also joined by Connor Gordon and Jenny Darby. Is that right?
Draper.
I knew it started with a D.
Very good.
Anyway, welcome, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, anytime. Thanks, guys.
In fact, what I want to do, and the reason we want to have you on is Josh is doing the show about you guys and the what you're doing, and I just want, first of all, Jenny, I want to start with you. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing, and tell us about the gym that you've opened. Just give us a quick overview of who's Jenny.
So I'm Jenny Draper, pro Strongwoman. I started a all-women's strongman comp a couple years ago called Athena's Arena, mostly to try and get more women into the sport because there's not a ton, and I just want to see the sport grow. So I created this comp as a way to really highlight the women and give them a chance to really shine. And it just kind of took off. People loved what I had to do and how I gave them the spotlight and it wasn't overshadowed by the men like most comps are.
Yeah.
It just kind of grew and we ended up growing this amazing female community at our gym and watched the sport grow a lot. So now we have a lot of women going to nationals this year. So all because of this one comp.
Oh, that's exciting. But I have to start with this though. Come on. What interested you in strongman? What? First of all, maybe describe that. What? Because there's going to be people. I mean, I'm a crazy musician.
This guy, I was doing powerlifting at the time. I was I just really wanted to lift weights. And I met.
What about? I want to get real fundamental here though. What about lifting weights? What drew you to that? What getting strong? Physically fit, but more than that, to be a power lifter or do strongman stuff, it's beyond just getting physically fit. You're elite status kind of work. So what drew you to that?
Yeah, I've always been interested in fitness. I wouldn't say I was ever really good at it. All through high school, I was I really like doing push-ups and I like being I don't know, really strong. I think in my junior year of high school, I got pinned down by a barbell doing a bench press, and it was 45 pounds. So I was not strong, but I love the idea of being strong. So I just kind of self-taught myself how to lift weights. And then it wasn't until 8 years later that I got a coach and I started taking it really serious. And then I met this guy and started into strongman. And then I just really fell in love with strongman. I like how functional it is and it makes anything in your daily life a lot easier. What
is strongman? Connor, what is strongman? What are we talking about?
It's basically functional fitness taken to the absolute extremes.
Yeah.
In a nutshell. You want to get good at picking something up, that's awesome. Now we'll make it 400 pounds and you need to put it to your shoulder now. Also, you need to do it for reps and you have 60 seconds.
Yeah, run with it.
Yeah. Well, I've since we did scheduled this interview, I had to do a little research and check out what we're talking about, and it is freaking insane. The stuff that people are doing, and Jenny, you're right. Obviously, it is going to be drawn more towards men. That's kind of going to be the draw, and that's what you see. But the things that these guys and gals are doing is insane. And I was watching and I can't remember what the lift was. It was some over shoulder lift above above the head, and he's holding it, and like his nose starts bleeding, and it's just
It gets to be intense.
really intense. Yeah. Now, are you kind of an adrenaline junkie in a way? Like you enjoy that
Me?
being that intense?
No.
No.
No. So like some people like they sniff ammonia, they get really hyped up. I feel like I'm completely opposite, where I'm like I go into like a nice zen place, I like meditate. It's peaceful for me.
Get in your home, ball. Go home. Sorry. Some people will get that joke. Connor, what about you? Tell us a little bit about your background, your history, and maybe how you two met.
So I've always loved like lifting weights. I just like the numbers. I like being strong. This is all the way back in like high school, where I competed in powerlifting. Went as far as competed in the World Powerlifting Organization out in Rostov-on-Don, Russia, when I was like 19 years old.
Wow.
Which is kind of like worlds for one of the federations. And then I couldn't really afford to feed myself. And so I kind of took a hiatus because during, the college years of 19 and about 24, you're pretty strapped. But then I started getting back into it. And where it really kind of took off was I got a contract to work in Antarctica, and where I had nothing better to do but lift weights and eat. So I got a huge head start in that one with already a pretty good base. Came back.
Hold on a second. Hold on. We can't. You were in Antarctica.
Twice.
Twice. Did you see the Nazi bases?
I have bad news. There are no Nazi bases or dinosaurs or lost civilizations, just a bunch of degenerate adults just having adult summer camp.
Right. Well, okay. So, by the way, that is fascinating. The fact that opportunity, because you are kind of in a confined, there's not much you can do. And probably for lots of hours, there's not much to do, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Like, I mean, the joke down there is like, if you're bored, it's your own fault. But there's plenty of opportunity because someone shipped down a hell of a weight set. But for me, a hell of a weight set is like a really solid squat rack with a good barbell and a lot of plates.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, cool. I have everything I need. And so that's what I did. And you get unlimited food down there because what better way to keep morale high than just serve unlimited food? And
wow.
That came back like 60 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
And then I started getting deeper and deeper into lifting, did my first strongman show. Loved it. Was like, wow, like I'm never doing powerlifting again. That is way too boring for me. Never looked back. And then I went back to Antarctica, but except this time I shipped a bunch of strongman equipment down. And so to this day, there's like farmer carries a yoke like down at the bottom of the earth. And oh, sorry, got an alarm up. And so practiced a lot of the basics down there, came back here, kept pushing for strongman, got invited, got my first official strongman games invite, yada, yada, yada. But this was like during COVID, so everything was out of the garage and so like my friends and I, who I would train with, we got tired of training in a garage. And so we moved into a larger garage where we all trained strongman together.
Right on.
It's a business of sorts.
But, by the way, you said something because you were mentioning some of the equipment that you shipped down to Antarctica, and I think for people to kind of get a visual of strongman from what I saw, like take like the Highland Games and notch it up to like extreme. and it's different events, but it's like that same, like the same kind of energy, the same kind of like crowd participation, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like Strongman and Highland Games would definitely be sitting at the same table at a family reunion, if that makes sense. But Highland is so steeped in tradition, where it's the same events each show, where Strongman, it's anyone's guess. They can change it. There's really not a lot of rules. You just make it happen. Do you know
going in what the events are going to be?
You do. You get a few months, usually. Usually.
Yeah, like 3 or 4 months, you'll get a notice of what it is.
Okay. And so, Jenny, you started the gym. Or how did the gym start, and how did you guys meet? Like, what? Tell me about like that.
Yeah, so like we started the gym together with like 2 of our friends.
Gotcha.
Basically, that's how it was. There was no strongman gym because there's so many like specific implements you have to use, and so it was like transferring between everyone's garage, like who had what equipment. And yeah, we just got tired of really hot summers and really cold winters in a garage, and so we 2022 ended up opening up a gym together.
Yeah. So we already knew each other. But like Jenny said, we just got tired of just the merry-go-round of going garage, and there were no other gyms that were like this at all in the state, or let alone like much of the nation. And so we went in focusing on Strongman, and then built everything else out from there.
Okay. And like, at what point did you guys decide that I always think about this, like, because there's always like critical points in a story, and like one of those had to be like, okay, Jenny is really into this, and she's not finding the a women's community kind of thing. Like, at what point did you decide, it'd be really good to focus and try to bring more women into the sport, and that this could be helpful to them, and a great thing to do?
I think we came to the same conclusion through different pathways. For Jenny, she not to speak for her, she can change this any way she wants, but like she just wanted gals to train with. There just weren't any women, like you noticed.
Yeah, I think we had like 4 female members of the gym.
Okay,
that was it.
And then I had watched so many private gyms just descend into a rat's nest of just male incompetency, just like private gym after private gym, like toilets are clogged, like there's mice living behind the plates against the walls, like, and it's just like, okay, we can like keep the standard just a little bit higher, and if we cater towards the ladies, the rest should follow through.
Yeah.
Because with the big guys, you roll in a 450-pound stone, like they will come. They don't care. Right. They just want the stone. But with like everything else, it's like, no, we should have like
soap in the bathroom.
Soap in the bathroom.
Something other than the paper towel roll,
Yeah.
If that.
Women are a lot cleaner.
Oh my gosh. And so is that when you opened the Sweaty Pig?
I mean, we opened in April 2022. We had an opportunity to grab a unit and just kind of like just go for it. Because of COVID, I had kind of amassed a bit of a training collection of my own. And so when we opened, it was like, we'll shoot for a particular aesthetic of, not aesthetic, not the right word, but we'll cater more towards like women, novice, so everyone can participate. So it isn't just like a monster's, den.
Right. But super intimidating. Because it would be intimidating. Like for me, if I walked into probably the average strongman gym, it would be pretty intimidating for me to, hang out with all that stuff and testosterone and, create.
It is. It's why we lean into just not taking ourselves very seriously. Between the name, the Instagram reel,
which is the best name of all time for a gym. It is simply the best.
The merch just writes itself, man.
Right.
One thing I want to hit on, if you don't mind, Mike, is
like
Jenny had mentioned that where a lot of these elements were catered toward men, the women would often get like hand-me-down equipment. So if the equipment existed for women, it would be in poor shape. It would be, not as functional, say, as for men. Maybe you can talk about your experience in that, Jenny, and how you wanted to implement changes to cater to women with equipment other than the hand-me-down leftover broken toys.
Oh yeah. Well, main thing is like this last year for Athena's, I hosted a circus dumbbell event. And typically, when you go to a local comp and it's a women's circus dumbbell, it's like, oh, we're just gonna put a fat grip on a regular dumbbell. And I was like, no, I want the cool Slater dumbbells for the women because like we never get the cool equipment. We always get like oh, you get just kind of like the less cool stuff, and the big guys get this big stuff. So I really wanted to cater to like women get the nice things this time, and we get the cool trophies. And that's one thing I love is like the women's only comp. I made the trophies kind of cater towards women. So like our first year was like house plant, everyone loved it. The second year was like a tumbler mug, everyone loved it. I don't know. We get too many like swords and stuff, which are cool, but I feel like it's far too catered towards men.
Well, it definitely sets you apart. It tells you who you are as a brand, and I love that. And it does. I love brands, companies, people who show their personality. I think that's just that's a really important thing.
I basically just built the competition I wanted to do, and everyone seemed to love that.
So, that's awesome.
Yeah, it does lead into a degree of authenticity, and people really, really seem to appreciate that.
I want to bring Josh in the conversation a little bit more. Josh, how did you discover these guys, and like tell me about the story that you're trying to tell.
Yeah, so I had a friend who was involved in Strongman, and like I've been doing like a little bit of a bodybuilding program. I just barely started, and so like weights was becoming more and more interesting to me. And my friend started posting these crazy lifts where he's like hauling giant rocks around, and then he's throwing up these huge, like the circus dumbbells, like where the grip is not like a traditional barbell grip. It's like, I don't know, guys, how wide is the diameter?
Probably
upwards of 3 inches for the men's.
And that's that's hard to grab onto if you're hurling around 150 plus pounds of, because the grip is different. And so I'm like, what is this? And so I started asking him questions about it, and I went to film, a little mini documentary, kind of like a little, just to peel back the layers of what Strongman was. And we bumped into Connor and Jenny at this competition. And so my wife was asking him questions, and then we ended up connecting later. And Connor's like, if you guys want a good story, like Athena's Arena is it. And so we started asking questions. We had phone calls, and we found out that like what they're building is more than a space to compete. It's more than a place to build muscle and build strength. Like the elements and the personalities of these people, Connor and Jenny, are coming through in everything that they do. Acceptance of who you are, acceptance of where you're at, and just building upon it. Like plant where you're grown, and so, or grow where you're planted, rather. And like that to me was like, this is really unique, right? Like these people are making a safe space for people that maybe don't fit in or whatever, as the world would see it. And then I started going to these competitions with them and start bumping into all these giants, superhuman people. And they're all pretty much the same, gentle giants. Like they're all like the most intimidating from a stature point of view, but like they're just softies,
sweethearts,
sweethearts. And I'm like, this is so interesting. And so that to me is what really drew me to the story, as well as the personalities.
One of the things I got to tell you, Josh, one of the things I love about what you're saying is like, so I'm a musician. And so in order for me to understand something, I have to understand it well enough to be able to write music about it or do something musically about it. And it sounds like you're doing the same thing. Like, I'm interested in this Strongman thing, so I'm going to go and do a documentary so I find out more about it. And I just wanted to point that out. That's pretty cool.
I think people get lost in like the facade of whatever they're doing, and they don't look at the people and the stories of the people that are moving it forward, right? And so, like, I've been interviewing a lot of their athletes, some of the women that are going to nationals, and every one of them, without fail, has attributed their success to some degree to the support that they received from Connor and Jenny. And they're like, when we want to quit, they're there cheering us up. When we have a bad day, they're there for us. Like, one lady, she mentioned that like her daughter had one time tried to commit suicide, and like somehow the word had gotten out, and she came into the gym and she was like devastated. And there was Connor, and like didn't really say anything, but just put his arms around her, and like they had this moment together, this deep human connection. And like that is just a testament to the people that Jenny and Connor are, that like it's not about the gym memberships, it's not about this, it's not about that, it's about the people that come here, it's the space.
And that, by the way, that's the feeling I get in talking to them, like relation. And correct me if I'm wrong, Connor and Jenny, but it seems to me like what I'm hearing a lot of is, and well, let me back up, because we've kind of spent some time kind of like doing the setting thing, like this is where we're at, and I really want to get into the drama of it, and in other words, the story of it, and it seems like the story is about the relationships. The relationships that you have with each other, and the relationship that you have with, the people that are working with you in the gym and in the community. Jenny, maybe let me ask you this: like, what for you, the discipline, the work, the things that you do in Strongman. How does that help you, and how does that help you connect with the people that you work out with?
Well, mostly a big reason why I do Strongman is because my friends are involved in it. You go to like a bunch of bigger shows outside of state, and you become such good friends with all the girls you compete with. So every comp you do, you just kind of like a little family reunion, and you just get to hang out with your girlfriends all weekend.
Right.
It's kind of the same with being at the gym. It's like, that's what we do for fun. Like, some people go to the bar with their friends. I go to the gym with my friends. And so we just lift bags and rocks and carry things. That's what we do as a community. That's all. I think if I didn't have that, I don't know if I would still be doing it. So that's what drives me.
Yeah, the sport also just super sucks to do alone.
Oh.
Oh my
God,
Yeah, there's a small perk with the ladies where the weights just don't need to get baffling in how heavy they are. Whereas the guys, it's like you'll be 7, 8, 9 plates deep on each side of a deadlift by the time you're done.
Putting that away alone sucks.
Yeah, like you'll be hitting 800-900 pounds on the yoke. It's just a slog if you don't have a small group to help do that with. Not to mention just the general motivation. And so, it's like suffering loves company, and it's best to have company going into this because it's designed to suck. Like, that's all it is.
One thing too that I love about the sport of strongman, and I've seen it at the competitions with the Sweaty Pig, that like it really is not, even though you're competing against all these other superhuman athletes for first place, when it's your turn to lift, everyone is cheering for you. All of your competitors, they're cheering for you, because it's not competitor against competitor. It's like everybody versus the weight. And I think that when you hit the weight, it's like, and like we were just at the Rainier Classic in Washington, and I have been to several competitions before, but I've never seen as much like passing out and crashing and dropping of weights and like failure, as some people would see it, but like that's what you're up against. It's not you versus somebody else. It's you versus this tremendous superhuman lift. And so everyone is rooting for you. And that's one thing that I love about the sport.
That's to me, like that's one of the interesting things that I haven't even thought about till right now. Like, you know, the weight will always win, right? Mm-hmm. So it's more about like what, you know, can you overcome it for a minute, for a second? Can you because you can always add more weight.
Mm. Yeah, if you're too good, then you're rewarded with more weight.
Right. Exactly. What kind of stories can you guys tell? Like, you know, how has you know, this bond or this you know, it really is a community. You know, what can you tell us about and Josh kind of hinted about it, but what are some of the things that you can tell us about just some of the stories? Like, how has this helped people's lives? I think that's what I'm interested in, is like what you know.
Oh man, like, so this has been probably one of the most bizarre social experiments that I've ever had the luxury of being a part of. And it's been everything from like watching people just break down in tears because I offer them to pause their membership for like 4 months while they find a new job. Like, still come in. I don't care about the payments. Just come in, so now you have somewhere to go. Everything from there's a lot of mental health issues here. We joke about it, you know, like everyone is on a kind of spectrum here, but it's like it just seems to come with the package with a lot of these athletes. And so you have people who truly have never fit in because they have like the real deal OCD, Asperger's, autism, ADHD, like bipolar disorder, like you name it. But here, with the weights being the common denominator and these competitions and the support in ways that like were probably close to impossible for them to find otherwise, has made this so like even when people move away, they still stay in extremely close contact with us.
That's so wonderful.
It really has been super cool, especially in an era of like chronic loneliness for everyone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, that is interesting. By the way, I love that you just said that, because we are, you know, we live in this internet age, a social media age, where we're so connected and yet we're more disconnected than ever. And, you know, having, you know, a gym to go to and, you know, meet in real life and touch and feel and actually connect with, we need to do more of that, man.
Yeah, it's hard to find in general. It's harder to find nowadays. And so, you know, no matter how overwhelmed or frustrated or burned out Jenny and I ever feel, it's like, well, but at the end of the day, we have the luxury of our entire job is to hang around and just goofball with our friends. Like,
yeah,
you just get to hang out with our best friends all day, every day. And we're very, very thankful for that. But we also just care a lot about giving as much as we can to the community at large.
Well, and I can tell, I very much can feel that. What is, before we go on any further, like, tell how, if people want to support you, people want to find you, what's the best places for them to look out for you at?
So generally, if someone gets interested in Strongman and they start poking around Strongman, they will eventually find their way to the pig one way or another. Yeah, like, for example, one of our best friends, CJ, he's playing this new video game online. He's playing with these two British guys. And these British guys ask him, like, oh, well, what do you and your wife like to do in your spare time? He's like, oh, well, we compete Strongman. And these British fellas are like, oh, that's so cool. Do you guys know Lucas Hatton? And it's like, yeah, he's my coach's main guy.
No way.
Like, my coach just came back from assisting him at the Strongest Man on Earth show, and I'm floating around in the YouTube videos with the sweaty pig shirt and the whole thing.
Oh
And
my
so it's
gosh.
like, so even if you find Lucas Hatton's coach on Instagram, like he will share sweaty pig reels, you will find your way to the sweaty pig. Like, I mean, that's the world we live in. It's just boom, 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 and before you know it, you're on our doorstep.
That's amazing. It is nice that, you know, the community, I mean, it is a small world. It is a small community from a standpoint, like I'll bet you probably know any of the big players, you know, anybody who is connected in that world, you know, and that's
In many ways, yeah, we're pretty close to the bigger players. You know, not necessarily everyone, but certainly here in the valley. Like, if strongman is what you want to do, like this is it.
And when you say the valley, you're in the Salt Lake Valley, right?
Salt Lake
In
Valley.
Utah.
But for example, we just had a gentleman move all the way from Brazil to be at the Pig, so that he could be a part of the strongman community.
Wow.
I have a story too where the pig, just the fame that goes with the pig. Like, I was contacting, and it's about 2 weeks before nationals, right? And these are big productions. They're huge, right? There's millions of viewers online, you know, thousands, if not millions of attendees in person. They usually pair with like other sports festivals and things like that. And like, I was emailing Strongman Corporation. I'm like, hey, you know, we're following this team and this is kind of the story. We need media credentials and entry and da 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 da. And like, I was sending email after email. I sent 3 emails and like there was no response. And then finally on my last email, one of the ladies called me from the corporation, Strongman Corporation. She's like, who are you? Like, who are you working with? Like, what is this? And I was explaining, and I'm like, look, like, do you know Jenny Draper and Connor Gordon? They're with the Sweaty Pig. And she's like, oh yeah, we love those guys. Yeah, you can get the entry in it. Like, it just like at the drop of the pig, the name of the pig, they're like, oh, for sure, we know they're legit.
Yeah.
If you're with them, then you're legit. Then, you know, here's your media pass and everything else. Like, it was literally that simple. And then, so
we'll
and
do no worse to your reputation than what we've already done to ourselves.
Well, I want to talk about, Jenny, let me ask you, like, talk about some of the success stories, because I know one of the things that you're proud of, and one of the things that you build, especially with you know, the competition that you built, is you do have probably, not certainly, the, you know, more of the qualified you know, national women, you know, in the nation. So talk about the success stories that you have, you know, built around that.
Oh, there's so many women going to nationals this year. The last few years, it's been like me and maybe one other person going to nationals. And like this year, I think we have like 9 women.
That's
with a few
incredible.
men. Yeah, we have more women going than men, which is pretty cool.
That's really cool.
It's wild. There's a few of them in there that it's like they just started Strongman a couple years ago and they have the potential to get a pro card this year, which is wild. It's so neat to see that happen.
Yeah, we might walk home with 2 to 3 new pros.
It'll be cool.
Which will be wild.
It's wild.
That's incredible. That's great.
Everyone here just kind of pushes each other, so it's kind of easy to get good because everyone's pushing you and it's fun and just feed off of everyone's energy.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's contagious. Like, that's probably what draws more and more people in. And have you seen, you know, because of what you've done, and I'm sure other circumstances, but because of what you've done, have you seen a good sized growth of women in strongman?
Oh yes, huge. When I started doing like local comps, I think there's maybe like 6 women that would sign up for a local show. So it was like really hard for me to qualify for nationals because you needed like 3 people in your weight class. I'm like, hey, I will pay for you to enter just so I could get the qualifier. And now we're selling out for Athena's with like 50, 60 people.
Oh, that's great.
You guys should talk about that overnight success, because that was something that that struck
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Like,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
Yeah, we fucked up.
they built this thing and they're like, we'll just see what
Yeah.
happens. And then
It was like I was driving to the gym one day and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should host all women's comp. Maybe that'll get more people. And I'm like, I really hope I could get like a dozen, maybe 20 people to sign up, and then it sold out at like 50. And I was like, oh no.
Now I have to do it.
I've been so wrapped up in like the strength community because I'm a massage therapist. I worked at a different gym. I worked on a lot of power lifters, and I made two of the events like a squat and a deadlift. And I was like, well, this is like kind of like powerlifting with some other things. So I kind of snagged some power lifters, and they're like, this is fun. And so they just like made the switch over to Strongman.
We're not above poaching.
Yeah.
Well, Athena's was a hilarious overnight success, but honestly, it ran with the same ethos as just the gym in and of itself. Like, we opened with really not much of a plan. We had, a couple of ideas, let's cater to women, we'll see what happens. And the two other gentlemen, Fairbrother and Brandon, who we opened the gym with, no one can. When you have the name the Sweaty Pig, you're kind of no longer tied to any kind of standard, right? You can do whatever you want. And so we just started just goofing around with the reels. And we found that those were absolutely instrumental of combating, like you said, Mike, of not being intimidating. Because you'd have these absolute monsters in the gym, but you would make these goofball reels to say, like, hey, look, we train seriously, we are serious,
But they're silly.
but we're willing to put our hair down and have a good time.
They
We're
have
fun,
Sour
yeah.
Patch Kids, and they love hugs.
We're all in D&D clubs,
That is amazing. That's great.
We even got D&D tattoos floating around here. I mean, like, do not underestimate how closeted in the nerd kingdom we are.
I was just gonna say,
And we're all the same. It's the best thing. It's the same story for me. Like, I finally get to go to a show and I hang out with all of my, gorilla-sized friends, and we're all the same person. It's just, we got guys who are professors, we got guys who, are lawyers, CPAs, professionals, and we just got gummy bears, heavy rocks. We love it. We cheer each other on.
Connor, I'm going to ask you something. How hard is it for you to find clothes?
It's impossible. It has earned me more relationships than it has cost me. So that's the good news. But I do effectively wear sweatpants year round. I have turned into having it be a litmus test. So when people say, hey, Connor, why do you wear sweatpants year round? And to me, I think it's extremely obvious. It's like, what else could, no, I'm not wearing Levi's.
But the truth is, if you don't know, you cannot relate. You cannot relate to going to a store and there's just nothing.
No, there's only a group of people out there that really seem to understand what's at stake, and that are the fine men and women of our airline system. I walk on that airplane and they just get wide-eyed. They're like, oh shit,
we're in trouble.
No. He's like,
we're putting him in the middle of the plane.
Yeah. Oh, they'll just start scrambling. I mean, they've given me their private seats. They just scramble to just try to make everyone's lives better, because it's not just me. It's the person I'm stuck next to.
Right.
And so, yeah, the world doesn't fit for us. It's a long-running joke of CPAPs and Velcro shoes, just it's the way it is.
But you know what? And you laugh about that, but you laugh about it because it's worth it, right?
Absolutely. It's the size is just a consequence of us wanting to be stronger. Mm-hmm. But you end up inadvertently becoming enormous. And we're not talking like bodybuilding, like enormous. Like we eclipse these guys. We are lots bigger because bodybuilders will stop somewhere around like 5'8", 5'9", in terms of height. Most strongmen start at 6 feet and it just goes up from there, and so like I did my last DEXA scan and I was like 287 pounds of lean mass at 20% body fat. Like,
wow, that's insane.
Yeah, and so
that's insane.
You're just at a whole other realm. But it is fun because you go to some places like Jenny, God bless her, does a lot of her grocery shopping because she knows I don't like going out in public because I get a lot of eyes. But every time I go through an airport, I always end up signing some little kid's, folder because he thinks I'm a superhero.
That's great. Yeah, well, or somebody thinks you're a lineman for the New York Jets or something, and
yeah, I'll have people that are like, you either you play football or you're a strongman. There is no in between. It's like, nope, you're right. I chose rocks though.
Yeah. Jenny, go ahead.
I was gonna mention that a lot of the merch that the Sweaty Pig has like plays on this joke, right? Like you kind of see it coming through in the personality, like the joke about the mental health thing. Like one of the shirts they have is like they put the tism in athleticism. But like the merch is choice, right? And they don't ever have any shortage of sizes there. But going along that line of like playing off of the tism, right? There's like a lot of this like self-deprecating humor that I've noticed that lives among the pig, and it really, again, I want to highlight like the caliber of individuals that run the show at the Sweaty Pig, right? Like they make the jokes and like, oh, we didn't know what we were doing, like we screwed up in starting this, competition, but like what they build, the people go. Like in all these interviews, like I've interviewed with Allison, I've interviewed with Maggie, I've interviewed with Sherry, and all these people just like seeing the praises of Connor and Jenny. And
did you see our most recent reel of, it's not for sale, but it is kind of a spin off of the humor. The Hogsborough Guess That Pig.
No, I haven't seen it.
So we have cards of every member, all the major members of the pig, everything from the dogs next door that come by to like, here's Brandon, our main founder, one of our founders.
Oh, that's great.
We just have AI. It's just stupid shit like that. We have our boudoir calendar every year where all the men dress sexy, and we have a 12-month calendar that we do to raise money for the Humane Society down the road. Like we go to the Humane Society in like leopard print underwear, and we do a full photo shoot of only the men. We have a kennel with a plaque on it for us because we were able to donate over $1,000 from the sales of the calendar.
Oh, that's great. Oh, that is fan-freaking-tastic. That's and I love like the more it just I think like the and Josh, I think you can, and maybe Jenny, you can speak to this too. It seems to me like the sum is bigger than its parts with you guys. We're hearing like these stories and these anecdotes, and I'm hearing, but what I'm also hearing from everybody is this just energy and excitement that it sounds like you kind of have to be there to experience. Am I right, Jenny? Is that?
Yeah, you definitely have to experience it because it's just. We don't know what we're doing. We just kind of play it by ear, and it just seems to work out.
That's great. That's great. Well, Josh, talk if people want to support your documentary and want to help, get this show rolling. How can they help do that?
So a big part of it is that this is a completely independent film, and it is dependent upon donations. And if you go to our Instagram at goodworksdoc.com, or goodworks documentary rather, we have a link there to our donation page, and it'll take you to the website so you can learn about, the characters in the story of the sweaty pig. You kind of learn the story of the sweaty pig, and any donation there is tax deductible, and it all goes to help funding the production of telling this incredible story. So check us out at the Goodworks documentary on Instagram, and then goodworksdoc.com is our website where we have some video clips and stuff of the athletes there.
Great. And if you send me links, I'll make sure to put them in the show notes for people to check out. I guess let's finish up with like stories. Like what maybe is there one thing that we haven't talked about that you think should be talked about? Any of you have anything that you think people should know, about the culture, about you guys, about, anything that I'm missing?
I would say that the culture was just it's the thing that sets the Sweaty Pig apart from almost any other gym that I'm aware of. And it is because, Jenny, myself, Fairbrother Brandon just took a very initiative driven approach on driving where we wanted that culture to go, and either try to give people an understanding of what we were hoping to get from them in terms of like their contributions or attitudes and support and things like that, and to also allow them to walk away if it wasn't for them.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of back and forth with things like that, but the proactive initiative in procuring the culture that we wanted, I think, really set things apart.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think it sounds so natural and casual and organic, but you guys had a very purposeful point to that.
No, it's exhausting, actually.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I bet, having to come up with awesome games and awesome reels and things. It's always
get people excited. Like, we don't do these things ourselves. We need people to want to participate in them. Like, we don't have enough money to pay anyone anything. I can only pay Brandon Fairbrother sushi. Like that's the best I got. So I need everything else to also be worth it for them and everyone else involved.
Yeah.
It is really good sushi though. So
no, hey, I bet it's the best. Jenny, do you have any kind of last words or anything that I'm missing that you think people should know?
No, it's a lot of work with the gym, but it's so rewarding. Like, it's our own, and just like building what we want out of it.
How rewarding is it? I apologize for interrupting, but I just had a thought. Like, for somebody who may be, new, maybe like Josh was a little bit, or somebody who might be just interested in just exploring strongman, but might feel a little intimidated, or they don't, they're unfortunately live outside the Salt Lake area or something like that. What words of advice would you give somebody who's interested in checking it out?
Yeah, we always get like a lot of new people that come in, and anytime someone is new, like, we don't have a ton of trainers here, but everyone is like very happy to help out. So it's like, if you come in on like a Saturday, it's super busy, but it's like, hey, I want to learn how to stone. So you're gonna have like 5 different people like, let me teach you how to do stone. Everyone is so excited to like get more people involved in the community. So it's really fun. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, don't hesitate to reach out either.
Okay.
Like, I mean, I run the Instagram page. I'm usually very responsive. Even if you kind of want to live vicariously through us, through wherever you're at, which a lot of people do, like, you're always welcome to just reach out.
That's great. That's good to know. I think that's wonderful. Josh, what any last words? Anything that I'm missing? Anything that you think would be important for people to know?
No, one of the things that I have, like, the insight that I've gained in working with the Sweaty Pig is that, like, wherever you're at, as long as you don't take yourself too seriously, but take your output seriously, then like you'll reach success wherever you go. And so I think that's a life lesson everyone can learn, right? Like no one's getting out alive, so don't take yourself too seriously. have fun and lift those around you. And so that's one thing I've taken away.
I think that's a great place probably to end it, because that's a great message and I felt that from this interview. So I want to thank you guys so much, and you guys, and so check out Sweaty Pig. We'll send links out for that and all their socials and stuff. We'll put links in for Josh. But thanks again, guys. Really appreciate you guys. We'll have to do it again as we get closer. It'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Mike. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys are listening.
Josh, always good seeing you, man.
Likewise. We'll see you guys soon.
All right. See you
guys listening. Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Hey, Josh. Thanks, man.
Yeah, you bet. Anything else that you need from me?
No. Yeah, just send me those links, I guess. But other than that was amazing. I appreciate it.
Of course. You bet. Anytime, Mike. We'll talk.
Mike is gone.
You are listening to And If Love Remains.
Gone but not forgotten.
First of 23 installments requested by Dr. Leavitt. Trying to be in compliance here because we're taking him and that whole organization down.